Shalom, 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 brothers and sisters. Welcome to Breakin Babylon. I'm your host, Elder Asiy'el ben Israel. I want to make sure y'all can hear me clearly. If y'all can go ahead and let me know you can hear me clearly, welcome to the show. Also, this show is brought to you by the Israelite Temple of the Living God. So if you haven't subscribed to our church channel, go ahead and do that now. If you're on Facebook, go ahead and subscribe to our channel over here on Breaking Bad with Elder Asiy'el on YouTube. Go ahead and subscribe to our channel on that one. All right, welcome, brothers and sisters. Before we get started, I want to make sure y'all can hear and see me clearly. All right, loud and clear. Okay, all praises. So, once again, welcome. Give all praise to the Most High. Welcome to the show. We got a good one for you today. We're going to be dealing with, as the title says, let me make sure the title is up and running, the Black Lives Matter Mafia. All right, that's what we're going to be dealing with today, the Black Lives Matter Mafia. All right, so join us. Come on in here. Like I said, share the video before we get deep into the video. Share it, subscribe to the channel. All right. All right, so if you brothers and sisters, if y'all been living under a rock somewhere and y'all not, on key on what's been going on, is lately we've been having a lot of issues dealing with police brutality, right? And all of us, we understand that we, this stuff been going on, right? This stuff has been going on. It's been going on ever since we've been here in America. We have always, whether it been us coming out of slavery, Jim Crow laws, black codes, whatever it may be, civil rights, all these issues has always been plaguing black and Hispanic people, okay? But here recently is we've been seeing a lot of attention going to the recent death of our brother George Floyd, right? Who was killed by a Minneapolis police officer, with a knee on his neck, right? Which is, we are against that, which we know that's wrong. That's against anything. I mean, nobody can find that morally right or acceptable, okay? But what's happened with this, and like I've always said, was with this, it's always an opportunist somewhere to, always looking for an opportunity to bring in an agenda. And like I've been saying this whole time, that the Black Lives Matter movement has always been that agenda, right? They mask themselves as there's some type of agenda for black people, but deep down they have a secret agenda, right? And we're gonna go into those things tonight. Like I said, if you've been living under a rock and you don't know what's going on, then I don't know what to tell you. But if you've seen how all of a sudden, even in the church, even in the Christian church, how now there is a bunch of attention gathered on black people, racism, right, due to George Floyd. And we see that, wherever you turn now, you're seeing something about George Floyd, racism. And we're going to go into that and showing you how the Black Lives Matter Mafia, right, what their hand is in this thing. All right. So now, make sure you brothers and sisters like the video, share it. All right. I'm going to open up my document here, and I want to get a scripture before we get started, right? And the scripture is going to be Isaiah 3:12, right? And it's in your Bible, King James Version Bible. And the scripture says this: as for my people, children are their oppressors, and women rule over them. Keep that in mind, brothers and sisters, as we go through this topic tonight, that the Bible says, as for my people, talking about the children of Israel, children are their oppressors, right? And women rule over them. O my people, they which lead thee cause thee to err, right? And destroy the way of thy paths. So the people that's leading us today are destroying us according to the Most High God. They're destroying us and leading us and then causing us to err. How is that? Because they're leading us away from God. We're going to learn today that the Black Lives Matter movement is a Marxist movement, right? Off the ideas and philosophy of Karl Marx. See? So we're going to see that Black Lives Matter has nothing to do with black lives. It has everything to do with an agenda, an ideology that they're secretly trying to promote, right? And with that, we know that secretly doing what? Promoting the LGBT community, on the side. While they put around these other agendas, they're secretly promoting the LGBT community, right? So this is what we're dealing with, right? This is the thing we're dealing with as black people. And black people, we don't really, when we see a movement, especially if it says black, something black, this is black, then we tend to follow it. We say, you know what, we're gonna follow it. We're gonna, it's for black people, but it's really not. Remember, Black Lives Matter was started by George Soros. They would want you to think that 3 black women started Black Lives Matter. That's not true. Right? If you look at the background of these women, that Alicia Garza, Patricia Collars, and Opel Tomei, I hope I'm saying their names right. These women have backgrounds, strategic backgrounds, dealing with organization, operating movements. So you can't tell me they conveniently have these things here set in place, and all of a sudden they just randomly came together and made Black Lives Matter. It's no coincidence, brothers and sisters. And George Soros, the billionaire, the Hungarian Jew, was just right there to fund the money. Now, why do they do this? Well, one reason is they don't want black and Hispanic people to come together and have their own independent organization. Meaning where there's no rules, where they're not governed by anything but by themselves. So before that happened, George Soros and the powers that be have to come in and sanction a group and put them under their rules. Remember, under their agendas. And put them under their agendas. Right? So that's what the whole point is with Black Lives Matter. Okay? So now, what I want to go into is, first things first, Black Lives Matter. Okay? So now, the Black Lives Matter movement is started by 3 lesbian women. Okay? If you look this stuff up, you can see it. It's there for you. 3 lesbian women. Okay? So what I did was, like anybody else, was let's do some research on it and see if they're for black people, right? Or if they for equal rights, or if they from all these things that they say they promote in the media. Let's see. So what we did was, brothers and sisters, is we go to the website, right? We're going to go to the website. All right, so check this out. Now, I'm going to go to their website real quick here. Y'all follow me, brothers and sisters. Make sure y'all like the video. All right, so now I'm going to share my screen real quick so y'all can see this. All right. So this is on the Black Lives Matter website. Right? So, of course, on the main screen, they got, Black Lives Matter, rest in peace, rest in power, George Floyd, right? So now, but with everything, you have to really understand what you're dealing with, right? So now, we go to the About section, right? And let's go to her story. Let's go to her story, right? Now, these are the women that started the Black Lives Matter here. Okay? Now, let's read the top here. In 2013, 3 radical black organizers. Now, wait a minute. If we all understand language, radical and organizers, I don't know how does that go together? But anyway, 3 radical black organizers, Alicia Garza, Patrice Cullors, and Opel Tometi, created a black-centered political will and movement. Let me read it again. Let me zoom in so y'all can see this. They created a political movement, created a black-centered political will and movement building project called Black Lives Matter. It was in response to the acquittal of Trayvon Martin's murderer, George Zimmerman. Okay, we all remember that case, right? So this is her story. Once again, that's a feminist title, right? Instead of his story or the history, her story. Okay, so we should be getting clues of what this group is about here. All right. So now let's continue. So let's look at the highlighted sections here, right? It says, as organizers who work with everyday people, Black Lives Matter, or BLM, members see and understand significant gaps in movement spaces and leadership. So, I mean, what does that mean? Let's continue reading. Black liberation movements in this country has created room, space, and leadership mostly for black heterosexual cisgender men, leaving women, queer, and transgender people and others either out of the movement or in the background to move the work forward with little or no recognition. Brothers and sisters, so this movement is not based on the liberation of black people. It's on the basis of bringing women and people that who they say is in the background to get recognition. I hope y'all following. This is what they're saying here. Let me read it again. Leaving women, queer, transgender people, and others either out of the movement or in the background to move the work forward with little or no recognition. Now, if you was really into waking up your people, liberating your people, why would it matter what role you play into it? Why would it matter what role you play into it? If you're about liberating your people, what I don't care if I have to be like David said, David or Solomon, one of them said in the scriptures, I can be a doorman, long as I make it to the kingdom of heaven. So whatever I have to do to be some type of something to hold our people together, I will be that. See, if I have to be a pillar, whatever pillar I have to hold up in the movement, I would do it. But here these women say they started an organization to bring women to the forefront. This is Black Lives Matter. Now, I don't understand how what this have to do with Black Lives Matter. I don't understand what this have to do with the injustice that are happening to our people. I don't get it. What does that have to do with the injustice that are happening to our people? Do you think a brother would care who coming to help him? Woman, male, or if brothers, our people need help. But meanwhile, you have an organization that's after something else. Let's continue to read. Right? It says, as a network, we have always recognized the need to center the leadership of women and queer and trans people. Read it again. As a network, we have always recognized the need to center the leadership of women and queer and trans people, to maximize our movement muscle and to be intentional about not replicating harmful practices that excluded so many in the past for liberation. We have made a commitment to placing those at the margins closer to the center. Meaning what? We're not concerned with Black Lives Matter. We're not concerned about you being killed. We're going to use this opportunity to bring trans women, queers, and all those things to the forefront. That's what we're focusing on. That's what we're doing here. So we don't have a movement to bring justice to black folks. We have a movement to bring those that wasn't able to be on the forefront and be recognized to the forefront so they can lead. See, that's what this movement is about. Let's continue. As Black Lives Matter developed throughout 2013 and 2014, we utilized it as a platform and a organizing tool. So they used it what? As a platform. What does it mean when someone says, I'm going to use something as a platform? Meaning it's another agenda that they have, but they're using this as a platform. Black Lives Matter is nothing but a platform for the Marxist agenda, for the communist agenda. That's what it's for. And I'm going to show you one of the members of the founders said herself that she's a trained Marxist. right? A cultural Marxist. They're looking for basically a revolution to take over, and you're gonna see that. And anybody that took a hold of the Marxist or communist position always ended up with a bunch of death and destruction, right? A bunch of what you would call dictators, right? This is what they this is their mindset. And you see it, and I find it funny that what they call black Hebrew Israelites are always referred to as a cult. But how many cars have so-called, and I quote, black Hebrew Israelites flipped over and burned and set on fire? And we'll show you how many Black Lives Matter members have set cars on fire. They have no direction. They have no rules and guidelines. Now, Hebrew Israelites, on the other hand, we're taught in the Bible to respect government, to respect the rules, not to go out and burn up cars and damage property. We don't do that. We follow the Bible. But this group, the Black Lives Matter Mafia, don't follow the Bible. Therefore, you see their people out doing what? Knocking down statues. Same thing they did in China. See? So what we're seeing now is a Marxist movement, right? What we're seeing is a Marxist revolution with these young people. But we're going to keep going. I don't want to get ahead of myself. Now watch this. So as they say themselves, we utilize it as a platform and a organizing tool. Other groups, organizations, and individuals use it to amplify anti-black racism across the country. Now remember that anti-black racism, right? In all the ways it showed up: Tamir Rice, Tanisha Anderson, Maya Hall, Walter Scott, Sandra Bland, and these names are inherently important. The space that Black Lives Matter held and continues to hold helped propel the conversation around the state-sanctioned violence that they experience. We particularly highlighted the egregious ways in which black women wait. Let me read we particularly highlighted the egregious ways in which black women, specifically black trans women, are violated. Wait a minute. So you see how they operate? They'll come with you they'll bring you to the edge and then tell you, I'm gonna kick you off. Here, let me show you some at the edge here. And then as soon as they bring you, soon as you think, well, I can trust them, they want to, then they kick you off the edge. See, that's what I'm saying. They'll bring these Maya Hall, Tamir Rice, all these people that need justice, and then they'll tell you their true motives and say, well, we particularly highlighted the egregious ways in which black women, specifically black trans women, are violated. That's what this movement is about. This is what it's about, brothers and sisters. See? Let's continue if you don't believe me. Let's go down to where it says here. Our goal is to support the development of new black leaders, as well as create a network where black people feel empowered to determine our destinies in our communities. Now, we know earlier what type of leaders they're looking for, right? What type of leaders are they looking for? Let's go up and show you. Black liberation movements in this country have created room, space, and leadership most for black heterosexual cisgender men, leaving women, queer, and transgender people and others either out of the movement or in the background to move the work forward with little or no recognition. Check this out. As a network, we have always recognized the need to center the leadership of women and queer and trans people. So when you go down here, they tell you our goal is to support the development of new black leaders. What type of black leaders? Women. Let's see, what is it? Queers and trans people. That's the leaders they want, brothers and sisters. So now, when we go back to what I was showing you here, where in the scriptures it says it very clear. Isaiah 3:12. As for my people, children are their oppressors, and women rule over them. See? And it says what? Oh, my people. Let me read this here. O my people, O my people, they which lead thee cause thee to err, and destroy the way of thy paths. See? I hope we understand that, brothers and sisters. We're not finished yet. We're not finished yet. All right. So now, let's continue with this. So now we kind of seeing where the Black Lives Matter movement is going here. Okay. Let's continue on some things. Follow me here, brothers and sisters. All right. So now, and I know plenty of people brought this out on Facebook, right? I understand it's about what they believe. Now, I want to go to this other section here, right? Let's go over. Follow me. Now, about Black Lives Matter. All right? So now this is what they believe here. Listen. Now, according to them, the movement was started on the death of the young man Trayvon Martin, right? So I don't get how all of a sudden the LGBT community is on the forefront of everything. But let's read it. We affirm the lives of black, queer, and trans folks, disabled folks, undocumented folks, folks with records, women, and all black lives along the gender spectrum. Now you notice at the very end of the sentence, they added regular black folks that don't identify with black transgenders or none of that, none of the LGBT thing. But you notice on the very front of what they affirm black, queer, and trans folks on the forefront. But this movement was established for injustice that black people are experienced by the police. But why is this the first thing that they want you to know that they affirm? When someone puts something first, that's priority, right? You're seeing it, brothers and sisters. This is what they're affirming. They don't care about black life. They pushing the agenda, brothers and sisters. They don't care about black life. Let me say it again. They don't care about black life. Now, let's keep moving. What we believe. Brothers and sisters, when we read, we have to pay attention to what we're reading, right? You have to understand what we're reading. You have to follow that and say, well, what do they mean by this, right? What when we see certain words, we have to go and look up the word, what it means, okay? Now check this out. 4 years ago, what is now known as Black Lives Matter Global Network, let me read it again. 4 years ago, what is now known as the Black Lives Matter Global Network, it's like a new world order to me. Remember the new world order, the Illuminati? Your global, see? About that global domination, that one world government, one world order. Black Lives Matter Global Network began to organize. It started out as a chapter-based, member-led organization whose mission was to build local power and to intervene when violence was inflicted on black communities by the state and vigilantes. Okay? In the years since, we have committed to struggling together and to imagining and creating a world free of anti-blackness. Remember that global thing, one world order? A world free of anti-blackness, where every black person has the social, economic, and political power to thrive. Marx, see, they Marxists. They showing you where every black person have the social, economic, political power to thrive. It's a Marxist organization. Look it up. Now, they go into the story on why Black Lives Matter was created. It was created because the death of Trayvon Martin, they came together and they tell you, or they came together in the streets. These women just had the same mission and all of a sudden they came together. Brothers and sisters, it's nothing in this world, in the US of A, that just happened by chance. These things were planned out years in advance. George Floyd, years in advance. Black Lives Matter, years in advance. And you notice all these things happen around the election time all the time. And you know that Black Lives Matter is a far left organization. They Democrats. And guess who's supporting them? Where you see all them kneeling down with the African dashiki things on. See, it goes together. See, this thing happened. All of a sudden, all your politicians and all of them are now concerned with black life. Now they walking around with dashikis on. Let me show you. See if I can find it. Stay with me. Stay with me. So let me try to find this. And you notice every time they do this, it's around election time. See? Follow me, brothers and sisters. Let me see if I can find this here. Now look at this. Now, I want to try to find. Let me find. You got here Democrats with they with their African guards on the kente cloth. I think that's what they call it, right? But hold on, let me get it. I want to show y'all this, brothers and sisters. Let me get a good picture. Let me get a good picture. We gotta see this, brothers and sisters. See? So now, I'll use that one. Let's use this one. Look at my screen. Now, you noticed everybody want to be African. Everybody is in support for black life now, all of a sudden. These are Democrats. Look up Black Lives Matter. They're a leftist group, a leftist organization promoting the Marxist agenda, right? They hate the heteronormative position of man and woman, right? And they in support of the Democrats. We showed you earlier that they were a political organization. It said it itself. It said it itself that they are a political organization. Now wait a minute. Now let's read to show you that I'm not making this up. This wasn't even part of the topic. But it says, ever since people took the streets to protest the deaths of George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, and Tony McDade, and countless others, we've seen a lot of white people and mainstream brands show their support for who? Black Lives Matter. See? Y'all might not believe what I'm saying, but I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna prove everything that I'm telling you tonight. I'm gonna show you that this group is a Marxist group. They are a destructive cult, right? And the only thing they out to do is promote the LGBT agenda by the suffering of black people. That's who they are. They're opportunists who are making money, or they making good money, off the death and suffering of black people. And meanwhile, pushing a LGBT agenda and pushing the LGBT agenda and making men look bad. No support for men. But we'll keep going. Let's keep going. So now, y'all seeing that, right? So now I'm going to go back to Black Lives Matter. And if anybody is fooled by this, now if y'all start voting Democrat because they walk around with kente cloths on, then you a fool. You'll fall for anything. You don't know these people do anything. They'll do anything for a vote. And they play on the heartstring of black people, of our suffering. Right? Let's continue. What we believe. Remember, so Black Lives Matter global network is as powerful as it is because of its membership. Our partners, our supporters, our staff, and you. Our continued commitment to liberation for all black people means we are continuing the work of our ancestors and fighting for our collective freedom because it's our duties, right? Now, our forefathers, our foremothers, the man was very important within the family. You couldn't fight without the man. But you see here, you don't see anything about upholding the man, strengthening family, right? Bringing back the power into the black Hispanic. You don't see that. What you see is power going to lesbians, women, a feminist movement, a LGBT feminist organization. That's what it is. Nothing about building family, but more about causing confusion, right? So let's go here. Let's go here. It says we are unapologetically black in our positioning. In affirming that Black Lives Matter, we need not qualify our position. To love and desire freedom and justice for ourselves is a prerequisite for wanting the same for others. Listen, brothers and sisters, we see ourselves as part of the global black family. And we are aware of the different ways we are impacted or privileged as black people who exist in different parts of the world. We are guided by the fact that all Black Lives Matter regardless of actual or perceived sexual identity. Now, why are they starting with these identifiers? If Black Lives Matter was concerned with the justice for black people, why does this matter? They showing you that what's priority to them. Everything we see is always trans and queer people at the very first, then everybody else, right? We are guided by the fact that all Black Lives Matter, regardless of actual or perceived sexual identity, gender expression, economic status, ability, disability, religious beliefs or disbeliefs, immigration status or location. We make space for transgender brothers and sisters to participate and lead. Let me highlight that. Let me read it again. We make space for transgender brothers and sisters to participate and lead. Listen to this. We are self-reflective and do the work required to dismantle cisgender privilege and uplift black trans folk. I don't get it. What do these things have to do with liberating black folks? Our issue is being killed by the police. The police is not looking at whether we LGBT or not. They killing black folks. You black, you colored, you being killed. But what we believe, we're constantly seeing an agenda here being promoted off the death of black people. They require to dismantle cisgender privilege and uplift black trans folk, especially black trans women who continue to be disproportionately impacted by trans antagonistic violence. Now, I'm not saying anything. I don't know when the last time I heard a story about a trans person. What I constantly see is black men being killed by the police. I'm not saying it don't happen with trans people, but I'm saying the issue that we're having is black men are being killed. Black men are not in the household. Black men are not being fathers. And here they come bringing in more confusion. So you might be thinking you out fighting for black life. You're actually fighting an agenda so they can promote for transgender people, for the LGBT community. That's what the fight is about. And cisgender, somebody asked, what is cisgender? Look, I had to look that up too. Basically, cisgender is if you're born with a penis, you a man. I don't understand why they just won't call him a male. Why it always have to be this complicated thing here? Well, you're cisgender. It just means a person who identified with their gender that they were born with. So a man with a penis, a private area, he identifies with being a male. See? Let me see here. Where are we at? It says that we make our spaces. Well, let's get. We make our spaces family friendly and enable parents to fully participate with their children. We dismantle the patriarchal practice. What is patriarchal practice? That requires mothers to work double shifts so that they can mother in private even as they participate in public justice work. Let's look at this next one. We disrupt the Western prescribed nuclear family structure requirement by supporting each other as a extended families and villages that collectively care for one another, especially our children, to the degree that mothers, parents, and children are comfortable. In other words, you have no need for a mother and father in the house because they don't want the father there. See, they said they disrupt Western prescribed nuclear family structure, meaning male and female. Because even though America is wicked, majority of people in America still prescribe to a mother and a father household. They said they come to dismantle that. So did Satan. Satan also said he come to kill. He come to kill and destroy too. Did not Satan say that too? We foster a queer affirming network. When we gather, we do so with the intention of freeing ourselves from the tight grip of heteronormative thinking, meaning heterosexual relationships. They free themselves from heteronormative thinking, or rather the belief that all in the world are heterosexual unless she, he, or they disclose otherwise. Now, black people, anybody that's watching, what the hell does that have to do with freeing black folks? What does that have to do with liberating black people? Destroying the family is liberating black people? Fostering queer affirming network, that's freeing and liberating black people? That's going to end our problems? What does these things have to do with liberating black people, helping us out of the condition that we're in? Somebody help me. Somebody help me, because I'm not understanding this. See? Let me see what else we have up in here. Look at this, brothers. I mean, y'all go for yourselves and look at this thing up. You will be surprised, brothers and sisters. Right? You will be surprised what you see here. All right. So we gonna move on. We gonna move on from that. Right? We gonna move on for that. Give me one moment, brothers and sisters. One moment. I'm gonna try to look this other thing up. One moment. While I look this up, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. Like it, share it, let people know we're on live right now. All right. One moment, brothers and sisters. All right, brothers, so let's get back to it. Let's get back to it. So, let's go back here. I wanted to show. I want to go back here. I wanted because I was just pointed out something right here. Let me read this other one. On here on this Black Lives Matter thing. I just read it from here. They also have another point where it says, "We build a space that affirms black women and is free from sexism, misogyny, and environments in which men are centered." If y'all can't see, they hate the man. They say they want to free black women from environments where men are centered. I don't get it. If you're fighting for black men that's being killed in the streets, why are you trying to remove black men? What does this have to do with liberating black people? All this is doing is further making us fall as a people. That's getting us away from the whole goal. So wait a minute. Like I've always said, we focus on the white man, right? The white man's trying to do it. No, it's our own people. We give the white man, it's our own people destroying us, not the white man. He funding the money, but it's our people that's coming in and being a force against us. See, it's our people that's causing us to fall. All because they have on black skin, we trust it. You can't trust every black person. Just because they black, that don't mean they for you. They for you. Just because they black, they say some cultural things that you say. Y'all can identify with rap music and R&B. That don't mean they for you. And we can see now an organization that's supposed to be for the liberation of black people, fighting for the injustice that are happening to black men and black women. They speaking about separating the black man from the family. See? Now, as I did my research on them, I noticed that most of these women are married. Well, two of them are, I couldn't find information on one of them, but two of them are married to trans women or queer women. So this whole agenda has nothing to do with liberating black people. It's all about liberating their agenda. And you're going to see how much power they have. I'm going to show you something in a few minutes, bro. So that's going to make you kind of wonder what's really going on. Because we have been suffering here in America since we've been here. And all of a sudden things are changing? Or is there an agenda behind why things are changing? We have to ask ourselves that. Right? So now, let's move into it. I want to show you this. As I was doing my research, brothers and sisters, I stumbled, of course, among more black feminist women. Right? So once I saw this, I said, you know what? It got to be more to this thing. This is more than Black Lives Matter. It's a whole movement altogether to destroy black men and life. Right? Now, something that you should be surprised about is Black Lives Matter. They claim to be pro-life, meaning all about black people living and not being killed and all that, but then they support abortions. So when do Black Lives Matter? A baby is not a black life? Black babies are not black life? How can you say Black Lives Matter but then support abortion? Right? Let me read a quote for you from the Black Lives Matter. This is what they say about abortion. So they're pro-abortion, right? It says, "We deserve and thus we demand reproductive justice." Now that's a word you need to kind of learn, because what they do is they mash certain keywords under other words. Reproductive justice now means also known as abortion. So what they're saying is we demand the right to abort however and whenever we want to. So reproductive justice, also known as abortion, that gives us the autonomy over our bodies and our identities while assuring that our children and families are supported, safe, and able to thrive. So what do you mean? So how do aborted babies thrive? How would a aborted baby thrive? How is it safe? How do you support a dead baby? This is Black Lives Matter, brothers and sisters. Now, I want to play another clip for you. As I was doing my research dealing with Black Lives Matter, of course, you go down a rabbit hole of information, right? And this led me to another movement. With who? Some more black women feminists. Or black feminist women, however you want to say it. But it leads you down the rabbit hole of the agenda that's being promoted. Being promoted how? Through George Floyd's death. These people are opportunists. Now, let's listen to this. I'm gonna play this on the screen, brothers and sisters. I want y'all to see this here. Check this out.
We are asking you to really consider how you can call yourself pro-choice when your behavior may be anti-Black.
We can't win reproductive justice without winning the end of police violence in this country.
This nation has yet to prove that Black Lives Matter and has yet to prove its ability to trust Black women. Reproductive justice includes the right to have children, to not have children, to parent the children that we have with dignity and safe and healthy environments. And reproductive justice also includes the human right to bodily autonomy for all people of all genders. As Black women leaders, activists, and supporters of the reproductive justice movement, we stand in solidarity with the movement for Black lives.
We saw Black and brown clinics that are owned and operated and primarily run also targeted and attacked. It's important for us to say that because we want to let you know right now, as Louisville, Kentucky is uprising, they have one clinic. They have one facility for the entire state for abortion, and that is Ernest Marshall. And he is a Black physician owner of this facility. He founded and runs this clinic, and they need money. Their windows were busted out and broken. We have seen what white supremacy does, and we have seen who they target.
The time that we are in is now even more urgent. It is our duty as RJ activists to ensure that the broader reproductive health and rights community understands the moral weight of this moment and our collective responsibility to dismantle white supremacy, including within our progressive spaces. Indigenous women, Black women, women of color, and trans people have always fought for reproductive justice. But the term was invented by 12 Black women in 1994. Reproductive justice is a movement, it's a framework and a community.
So I just want to be clear that we're not waiting for the clouds to move. We are asking for permanent and sustained change. We are asking for our systems, institutions, and individual actions to be different going forward, forever, ever.
Switch to
So as y'all can see, another video pushing what? Reproductive justice, right? Another, as you see, nothing but black women doing what? See, and other nations don't do this. Other nations have no issue with heterosexual relationships. Everybody else, it's only when we deal with black people, we are the ones that fight each other. We fight and we think that there's something that's worth fighting for. No, the powers that be wanted to see us divided. The Bible says it very clear, a nation divided cannot stand. A man and a woman are supposed to be together and grow. Right? But you see what's going on here, brothers and sisters. Right? So what I did was, of course, with everything, you go and do a little research, right? Now, let me go into this. I want to show you, brothers and sisters, something real quick, right? Make sure y'all like the video, subscribe to the video. Want to make sure we're live on YouTube. Okay, I don't know why it's private, but whatever. All right, so now let's go into this. So that video, what we just saw, sister song or whatever they're called. I went to the website. Once again, so you think these women are just black women fighting for reproductive justice, also known as abortion? We'll see. So I went to the website and said, well, who are these women who coming out like they're just fighting for a good cause? You know, we fighting for women's rights and all these things, right? Let's find out who they are. Let's see. So I'll go to the website, brothers and sisters. And what do I see? Let's go over. Voila. Once again, I see one brother that's in the group and the rest are women. Now, before I went and did deeper research, I had already in my mind said, oh, most of these women look like lesbians. So if you look at the top, Sister Song, Women of Color, Reproductive Justice Collective. So they go and define it. What is reproductive justice? Sister Song defines reproductive justice as the human right to maintain personal body autonomy, having children, not having children, and parent the children we have in safe and sustainable communities. Right? So did a little bit more digging. So I didn't want to be a person that say, well, they just look homosexual and not be able to prove it, or lesbians, or promoting the LGBT community. I didn't want to do it. So what I did was I said, okay, let me go and look at some more. Let's do some more digging, right? So I said, let's go to our team here. Okay, our team. So I said, okay, well, now we're getting more into, the movement. The leader. Look at this, brothers and sisters. Monica Ray Simpson, a queer black NC native. They push an intersectionality as well. Meaning the more offices, the more things you can put on yourselves, the more people supposed to feel bad for you. Oh, I'm a black male, I'm oppressed male and all. See, the more these groups you can fit in, the more they feel like they should get sympathy. So what they do is I'm a queer black. See? So when you say queer, that automatically right there, oh, well, damn, you're suffering, you're oppressed. You part of the LGBT plus you black, and then you black. Black people are very oppressed. See, intersectionality is very big in the LGBT community, right? So the leader of it is a queer black woman. See how it's falling into it, brothers and sisters? So now let's keep going. These are for abortions. They want you to kill your children. They want you to have the right to kill your children. Let's go to the next one. So, that's the leader. Look. Monica is a nationally sought out facilitator, speaker, and organizer, constantly called upon to travel the country for appearances. She is the only woman among 4 founders of Charlotte, North Carolina Black Gay Pride Celebration, the first in the Bible Belt. Look at that, in the Bible Belt, which received awards from the National Black Justice Coalition and the Human Rights Coalition for its incredible lunch with 7,000 participants. She has been featured in many publications, and her activism, as has written many articles on the LGBTQ issues, RJ, meaning reproductive justice, over policing of black and brown communities, philanthropy, and Southern activism. Right? So that's the leader. Let's continue. She don't give her what you call it, sex orientation on here, her sexual orientation. So let's continue though. But most of them, I'm sure, are lesbians. Oreo is a cisgender male. So when I read this, I had to go and look at it and say, well, what is a cisgender male? So what it basically is a male that identifies with a male. So he's has a private area that's consistent with males, so he identified with a male. I don't know why they had to put that there. I don't get it. See, you notice the pronouns, she, her. Let's keep going. Danielle Rodriguez is a queer mother. See? Let's continue. Judith Jones is a womanist and a writer born in the North and raised in the South. See? Kivet Chinwe, Kinyeti Chiwe, is a black queer woman of Caribbean heritage. Let's keep going. Maya is a black queer organizer and birth worker based in Chapel Hill, North Carolina. Brothers and sisters, can y'all see what we going here? So I was doing research on Black Lives Matter. This group popped up associated with Black Lives Matter, and look what they're doing. They're for the justice for black women to have justice, but deep underneath the surface, they're promoting LGBT. All of them are queers and lesbians. See? We can't make this up, brothers and sisters. This is what's going on in your world. This is what they're doing, using using black people's oppression, our hardships, our deaths, to promote an agenda. These people don't care about black folks. Just because they have black skin don't mean they for you. They don't care for black people. It's that simple. You have the Black Lives Matter movement, who's against the father being in the home. This is one of the most important things that would establish the black household, is having the father there. Majority of our brothers are being killed because they have no fathers, nobody to raise them up, to keep them and give them discipline. And these women saying they're fighting for injustice, but then not trying to bring back the foundation of the home. You know why? Because they profit off brothers being killed. They profit off sisters being killed. They profit off the policing our neighborhood, killing our brothers and sisters. That's how they profit. That's how they continue to promote their agendas. See? If they wanted to do the right thing, they would promote black people. They would promote righteous marriage. They would promote and bring in programs where men will be back in the home raising their children. Are they doing that? No, they're not. Meanwhile, they're putting all their efforts in their own agendas. See? They're putting all their efforts in their own agenda. Here for the queer people here, the lesbian here, and then they tell you straight out that they're breaking the cycle of men-centered organizations or men-centered household. They trying to take the man out of the household. Let's keep moving. Now, another video. Follow me, brothers and sisters.
He was concerned or is concerned.
I want to show you this, right? Look at your screen, brothers and sisters. Listen to this. This is one of the Black Lives Matter Mafia members here speaking to this. I don't know who this guy is, but it's his video. Realnews.com. So listen to this. Look at this.
Concerned that that there's a lack of perhaps ideological direction in Black Lives Matter that would allow it to fizzle out, as he said, in comparison to Occupy Wall Street. As you are advanced in your own organization, as you all are headed to Cleveland to participate in this Black Lives Movement conference, how do you respond to that particular critique? Again, a loving critique from an elder of the struggle that some others share, that I've even shared as well, to be frank, as a concern about, in part because of the co-optation and the appropriation, that a more clear ideological structuring might be of some value here. But how do you respond to those kinds of, again, loving criticisms?
I think that the criticism is helpful. I also think that it might, I think of a lot of things. The first thing I think is that we actually do have an ideological frame. Myself and Alicia in particular are trained organizers. We are trained Marxists. We are super versed on sort of ideological theories.
How much
I'm sorry, my mic was muted. Can y'all hear me now? All right, so we're back on. Sorry about that. So, like I was saying, is this movement, like she said, she's a trained Marxist. Meaning what? Like I was saying a few seconds ago, Marxists. Anytime a Marxist regime was used, it always ended in a dictatorship and the death and killing of a lot of people. It never worked, right? And their ideal and their ideal of what a Marxist movement is in their mind is them going against capitalism or oppression that black people are suffering. So in their mind, they want to take over, right? Take over and give back to the little man. But how would that work? How would that work? It never worked. So their ideology is a Marxist, is a Marxist type revolution, cultural Marxism type of ideology. How is that going to help black people? She said that we are trained organizers. What does that mean? meaning they appear to be like they're doing something, but they're not. They're promoting an agenda, a Marxist mafia agenda. That's going to be pretty much the takeover, where pretty soon you already see they flipping over cars, bringing down statues. That's the beginning of it. That is not going to free and liberate black people. What does that do? That further separates us, right? And that makes more police come and kill us in our neighborhoods. We believe in the Bible, right? We believe in the Bible. We don't hate no group. We don't hate anybody. We don't say no. We don't deal with that. But what we're saying is this group, even if we want to something better for us, it's not going to give it to us because they're bringing further destruction to us. See? So you brothers and sisters out there, you're marching with Black Lives Matter. Be careful. Know what you're doing first. Do your research on these groups first and see what is your agenda. What is it that you're doing? What is it that you're really about? And look at the sponsors. What is George Soros about? He's about, y'all have to understand who George Soros is. He's a financier. He's about his money. And he'll tell you himself, and he don't believe in God. Anywhere he can make money, he'll do it. So anytime he see an opportunity for his agenda, Black Lives Matter was his agenda. It's promoting his agenda. What is his agenda? Furthering separating the family household, separating the family. So we'd never have a good foundation in the household. That's his mission. That's their mission. That's the Black Lives Matter mission. This stuff just didn't happen all of a sudden. These women just didn't pop out and say, oh, let's start a movement. These women were chosen to start and be over the Black Lives Matter movement, Mafia. They were chosen. They college educated. See, these are not just people that's in the street pissed off. Your normal Joe. These people were planned. They are trained. She says she's a trained Marxist. They're trained organizers. See, these people were chosen. Y'all don't believe me? Okay. See? Now, to show you how powerful these movements are, right? To show you how powerful these Black Lives Movement is, brothers and sisters, let me show you what happened since the death of Brother George Floyd and the Black Lives Matter Mafia. Let me show you what people have been doing. Right? Watch this. So what you have here, let me get my notes here. Now, based off the crime, the murder that happened to our brother George Floyd, they took the feminists, I told you the feminist movement, the LGBT movement, the Black Lives Movement has took it upon themselves to promote themselves. Now, this issue has nothing to do with the liberation of black people. George Floyd's death, they're using George Floyd's death to promote the feminist movement, to promote women. Let me say it again. They're using the death of Brother George Floyd to promote a feminist, womanist movement. Let me say it one more time. They're using the death of Brother George Floyd to promote a feminist movement. For what they say, women rights. Now, they have a thing they called here, # share the mic now. Now, apparently what this is, let me read it. I don't want to misquote it. So, since this thing happened, this thing called share the mic now has blown up. And what they're doing is they're letting black women, white women are allowing black women to use their platforms. So white women like Kim Kardashian that has a lot of followers, they're letting black women use their social media accounts to promote their movements. Not promote justice for black folks, but to promote the women, the feminist movement for women rights. not black people. We got black people got to get rights, period. They're not using it for that, to bring justice for our people. They're using it for their own agendas. Let me read it. Let's go to it. So, let's go here. Watch this. Share the mic now. Right? Now, let me find where I was at here. I think this is what I was on. Now, brothers and sisters, let's look. I'm gonna transition this over. Right? Now, look at this. Why black women are taking over white women's Instagram accounts today. Let that sink in. Not black men, not black families, but by black women. Not to fight for justice for black people, not to bring awareness for black. Why black women are taking over white women's Instagram accounts today. Let's see. As you scroll through Instagram today, you might see new faces and hear some new voices. That's the point of the Share the Mic Now campaign running June 10th. When the world listens to women, it listens to white women. Share the Mic Now mission statement reads, For far too long, black women's voices have gone unheard, even though they have been using their voices loudly for centuries to enact change. Maybe that's the problem. And change in what? It says, to center black women's voices, work, and experience, black activists and academics are taking over white women's feeds. For instance, campaign organizers and Endeavor Chief Marketing Officer Bazoma St. John will speak to Kourtney Kardashian's followers all day today. See? Over 40 pairs of women with a reach of more than 300 million followers will share the mic today with the aim of amplifying black voices working toward changing America's racist system and reaching an audience they previously hadn't. This campaign also hopes to build relationships among women so that our future activism is born from relationships. This campaign's press release reads, the group of women includes household names such as Julia Roberts, Senator Elizabeth Warren, U.S. Soccer Alex Morgan, model Ashley Graham, comedian Chelsea Handler, and designer Diane von Furstenberg. I don't know how to say that. It also spotlights some of the Fortune's most powerful women, including Chase Consumer Banking CEO Thasundon Brown Duckett, Endeavor CMO Bozoma St. John, and Thrive Global CEO Ariana Huffington. To participate, you can follow the white women in graphics below and share the mic now on Instagram today. But make sure to follow the black women taking over their feeds via their personal handles to keep up with the conversation on race and change beyond today. Now, look at the women. That's who they're going to be paired up against. So Bozoma St. John will be paired up with Kourtney Kardashian. Lovey Al J. Jones will be with Sophia Bush. See? Begging white people. You want justice, but you begging white people again. See? Look how much power this movement has. Off the death of brother George Floyd. See? Let's keep looking. Let's see if we can find somebody familiar within this group. I mean, you get most of these women look like lesbians. I'm just being honest. Let's see if we can find somebody familiar. Oh, who is that? Opel Tomate. That's one of the girls over Black Lives Matter. Wouldn't you say? See? One of the girls off Black Lives Matter. Let's bring that in so you can see that. There she go. She's teaming up with Ashley Graham. So they're teaming up with white people to get their platforms. Now, last I checked, if I don't follow you on Instagram or any of those social media platforms, because I'm really not interested in what you have to offer. So you can get on my platform all you want. I'm still not gonna be interested in what you have to offer. That's why they're following who they like to follow. But the black feminist movement want to do what? Force everything down your throat like the LGBT community. It is what it is. See? There you go. So, y'all see what's going on here, brothers and sisters. We are not making this thing up. This thing, George Floyd, was used for what? To promote foolishness. That's what it was. Now, hold on. It gets worse. It gets worse, brothers and sisters. Let me show you another video. It gets even worse. This Black Lives Matter, these feminist LGBT movement is making everybody bow down. See? Let me show you. Let me go here. I want to show you something else that's going on. Right? Let's see. What is this one? Now, I'm going to share my screen, brothers and sisters. Look at this. Listen what's going on here, brothers and sisters. Right? Let me get this over here. Follow this. Listen to this.
I take responsibility.
I take responsibility.
I take responsibility.
I take responsibility for every unchecked moment.
For every time it was easier to ignore than to call it out for what it was.
Every not so funny joke. Every unfair stereotype.
Every blatant injustice, no matter how big or small.
Every time I remained silent.
Every time I explained away police brutality. Or turned a blind eye.
I take responsibility. Black people are being slaughtered in the streets, killed in their own homes. These are our brothers and sisters, our friends, our family. We are done watching them die. We are no longer bystanders. We will not be idle. Enough is enough.
I will no longer allow an unchecked moment. I will no longer allow racist, hurtful words, jokes, stereotypes, no matter how big.
Bro, so let me bring this back, because obviously they living on Mars somewhere, and they just not figuring out in 2020 black people being killed. Brother Jerome, have you been noticing black people being killed since we've been here? Yes. Oh, okay. So I mean, I guess I'm not the only one to notice that. Brother Jerome in the building, he noticed it too. So where are they from? What planet did they just now come from? Let me play it again.
Or small, to be uttered in my presence.
I will not turn a blind eye. Going for a jog should not be a death sentence. Sleeping in your own home should not be a death sentence.
Playing video games with your nephew should not be a death sentence.
Shopping in a store should not be a death sentence. Business as usual should not be life-threatening. I stand against hate.
I stand against hate.
I stand against hate.
I stand against hate.
I will stand against hate in love. I will make my presence known.
And killer cops must be prosecuted. They are murderers. We can turn the tide. It is time to take responsibility. Call out hate, step up, and take action.
These are actors. If y'all fell for that, then hey, I mean, you deserve to fall for it. They are actors. How long have black people been suffering? I don't get it. Y'all just now recognizing this? But I tell people all the time, it's because of, let me make sure I'm back on. It's because of COVID-19 that they just now realizing, hey, black people are being killed. Black people have been saying that since we landed on, since we got off the first slave ship in Jamestown, Virginia, we've been saying black people are being unjustly treated. Hello? Here we are in 2020, and y'all just now catching up. That's scary. But if business was as usual, you wouldn't have got this. And if the Black Lives Matter Mafia wasn't pushing it like they were, you wouldn't see it. This is all in response to the Black Lives Matter Mafia. See, the LGBT, the group that's masked as Black Lives Matter, but it's really a secret LGBT group masked as Black Lives Matter. See, I want to hear that video again because they really we are taking a stand. We were no longer taking it. They're actors. The actors. Let's read. I want to do it again. Listen to it again, brothers and sisters. We will not take this anymore. It's all a game. It's all a game. Listen.
I take responsibility.
I take responsibility.
I take responsibility.
I take responsibility for every unchecked moment.
For every time it was easier to ignore than to call it out for what it was.
Every not so funny joke. Every unfair stereotype.
Every blatant injustice, no matter how big or small.
Every time I remained silent.
Every time I explained away police brutality. Or turned a blind eye.
I take responsibility. Black people are being slaughtered in the streets, killed in their own homes. These are our brothers and sisters, our friends.
That ain't just happened. She said like this is something new. Black people are being killed by the police, being slaughtered. This been happening. This is a disgust. This is a slap in the face. Anybody that fall for this, you should continue to keep falling. If you can't see what's going on here, I don't know what else to tell you. Now, I'll let that sink in for a little bit, brothers and sisters. Let that sink in a little bit. I don't know what planet they living on, but that goes to show you. Now y'all want to take responsibility? No, it's okay. Right, brother. They are actors. That's why I said if people fall for that, you deserve to be. You deserve to fall for the hokey doke. Now listen. Now they even have, look at the screen. They have a good old website for good old white folks to go to take responsibility. I take responsibility.org. So good old white people can go and pick on here on what they should take responsibility for. Brothers, sisters, this is a joke. These people, they're not serious. So what you do is just go to the website, I take responsibility.org, and you can pick on what you take responsibility for. So this one, I don't know why it's not showing up. Let me see here. This is not showing up. Let me find me another. Let's see if we can find another website. Hold on, because I want y'all to see this. I want y'all to see this because it's not showing up. I want to see what they taking responsibility for. Right? So let me try to pull this up on another web browser. Bear with me. Now, hopefully this one will work. No, it's not working. See, that they probably done took the website down. But I'll read it for you. I'll go back to the website. So the website says this. I take responsibility for it, and I'm going to read them. So, for turning a blind eye to racism. That's one of them. Making racist jokes. That's another one they can pick, white people can pick from. Explaining away police brutality. That's another one they can pick. It's a little drop-down box that they can pick from. And then once they pick their choices, then they click Get Started. Right? Saying racism doesn't exist. That's another one. Explaining away systemic racism. Right? Denying white privilege exists. Not educating myself on racism. My own explicit bias against black people. Saying I don't see color. Not listening to / believing black people. Not being inclusive. Not educating my kids on the systemic racism. Valuing black culture more than black lives. Right? So you pick one. So we'll pick one. As y'all can see on my screen, they have different ones. See? So we'll pick one. Turn a blind eye to racism. Then you have, and to make it better, today I will do what? So it's almost like a little kiddie game. What did you do to Tom? Oh, I hit him. Well, what will you do better next time? Well, I would tell first and I would apologize. This is what it is. This is how they take you. This is a joke to them. Well, what would you do better next time, little Tom? Oh, I will tell him I'm sorry. I will shake his hand and be friends. These are actors. So now, I will take responsibility for turning a blind eye to racism. And to make it better, today I will demand for police accountability. Let's put that one. Or let's see, support organizations on the front lines, donate to families affected, mobilize voting efforts. Okay, now we'll click Get Started. Enough is enough. You've pledged to demand for police accountability. Now they make you donate. Now they make you donate. Brothers and sisters, look what's going on here. Now they make you donate. They get money off this thing, brothers and sisters. They getting paid. Donate. It says donate and plus get involved. You have pledged to demand for police accountability. Here are some places to get started honoring that pledge. Make an impact today. Guess who's on the bottom right here? Good old Black Lives Matter. See? The very first one you can donate to is Black Lives Matter. I wonder why they're on the forefront. Maybe because it's their agenda. Maybe because they are the Black Lives Matter Mafia. See? You can donate to Reclaim the Block. See? And they have the good old video now where they take accountability for their actions. Brothers and sisters, if y'all fall for this, you deserve to always be in darkness. Once basketball come back on and basketball and football come back around and movies start coming back on, we're going to go right back to sleep, and they're going to go right back putting those blinders on and saying, color don't matter. When we have been saying color matters this whole time, but guess what it took? It took 3 lesbians to say, hey, black people are being mistreated, for everybody to jump on the bandwagon, not because they care about black people, because they care about this LGBT movement, because they want to promote this LGBT movement, Black and Hispanic people have been saying we've been treated wrong. For them now to come out on video and say, black people, our brothers are being mistreated. Black people have been mistreated 400 years since we've been in America. I mean, y'all don't live in America too? Everybody has news. Brothers just didn't start getting shot and killed by the police in 2020. We were getting killed in 2019, 2018, 2017, 2016, 1963, 1950, 1943, 1930, 1919, 1918, 1865, 18. So this ain't just started. See? Now, show you how much more. Let me show you. They have more poor than that, brothers and sisters. They have so much poor, brothers and sisters, that they were able to cancel cops and live PD. Cops have been on since 1989. Black Lives Matter come with they Mafia, shut it down since the show since 1989. Let me show you. Black lives came up in here, everything, shutting everything down. Black people have been fighting over here in America for rights and all these things. Black Lives Matter come on the scene in a couple years because they promoting that LGBT, they get everything. We said that. Anytime somebody promote the LGBT community, everybody bow down and give them everything they want. So don't think that you getting justice because they feel sorry for black people. That's not the true agenda, brothers and sisters. The true agenda is to keep fathers out the house, like we read about who we are when we read it with the Black Lives Matter website. What we believe, they don't believe in black men being in the household. They would believe in put women and queer people in leadership. They believe in breaking up the patriarchal hierarchy within the family, man and woman. See? This is what they believe in. Now, let's go into it.
Feeling stressed?
Let's go into it, brothers and sisters. Right? Make sure y'all like and subscribe to the channel. Please like and subscribe to this. Also, we have a church channel, Israelite Temple of the Living God. Make sure you go over and subscribe to that channel, right? Share this on Facebook. Also, look me up on Facebook, Asiy'el Israel, Breaking Bad, my Breaking Bad page. Make sure you friend me on there. All right. So now, let's get into it. Watch this. Now, you can't tell me this group don't have pull when they can do this. Watch this.
Cancellation of two popular police reality shows as the protests against police brutality and excessive force continue to rock this nation. The long-running series Cops and now the top cable show Live PD are both being pulled from the airwaves. We're going to talk with ABC Chief Legal Analyst Dan Abrams, the host and producer of Live PD, in just a moment. But first, Steve Osunsami has the story. Good morning, Steve.
Good morning to you, Amy. These police programs, are immensely popular. But for all of their success in the ratings, many black Americans in particular have concerns about the overrepresentation of black suspects and other issues. For more than 3 decades, police officers on the hit show Cops have been entertaining Americans with high-speed chases, police arrests, and signature songs. Drug busts, alleged drunk drivers, all arrested on camera and reaching massive audiences. At its peak in the 90s, Cops was pulling in nearly 8 million viewers an episode. But times have changed, and on Tuesday, the Paramount Network decided the show was being canceled. Protests that have filled American streets in response to the death of George Floyd in police custody have television executives seeing the show in a different light. The long complaint is that the supposed hero police officers on the program are seen too often tracking down and arresting black Americans. And to some, it feels like sport.
Well, it depicted black communities as folks that needed to be controlled.
Rashad Robinson is the president of a group called Color of Change. In 2013, they convinced executives at Fox Network to pull the show from the air after 25 seasons.
See? He's a homosexual. See? When a homosexual do something, they do it. See? Now, we've been saying cops were racist. We've been saying that. We've been saying that racial profile on the cops on the show. But as soon as the homosexual, the guy here that's a homosexual says, hey, pull the show, they pull it. Let's keep going.
It then moved on to syndication.
They went into some of the most targeted, the most exploited communities and brought cameras and put people on display, and then they made profit off of it without ever having to be accountable.
And now Live PD. Like Cops, it was hugely popular, the highest rated show on A&E, and the network is saying the show will end. In a statement, A&E responded to the news saying, going forward, we will determine if there is a clear pathway to tell the stories of both the community and the police officers whose role it is to serve them. The show ran for 3 hours every Friday and Saturday night with live cameras set up with police departments across the country. We spoke with the sheriff of one of them last year who told us that the program made his officers local stars and helped improve relations with his community.
I just knew that people needed to see what we see every day, not just a snapshot, but actually see the funny stuff, the dangerous stuff.
The show took fire this week after it was revealed that their cameras were present during this deadly arrest last year in Austin, seen here in this police body camera video. The show is on hiatus and never aired the video. Television executives are now reevaluating their commitment to this kind of programming.
This is a watershed moment for networks and for TV creators who are reconsidering the role that TV about police plays in the way Americans understand the role of police in everyday life.
There are many black families in this country who will not let their children watch these programs because they're afraid of their kids growing up socialized to see black people in these awful situations. TJ.
All right, Steve, thank you so much. We're going to bring in host and producer of Live PD, Dan Abrams, also our ABC News chief legal correspondent, also a friend of our show here at GMA. Let me get your response to what Steve just said. You're in charge of a show, the host of a show that a lot of black families in this country don't want their kids to see. What is your reaction to hearing something like that?
So I think you really need to distinguish Cops from Live PD. Cops was a show that provided a highlight reel of amazing moments that happen in policing. And, you know, there were a lot of complaints about Cops over the years. I have to tell you, we didn't get a lot of those same complaints. Why? Because we were live. We were showing the beginning, the middle, and the end of the story. We had a really diverse group of police officers who were out there doing the hard work that police officers do every day. But look, we also have to accept that this is a new time. And what I had been hoping was that Live PD could have become a great venue for a national discussion and actually action. Actually see change implemented.
And it's called Live PD. It's not exactly live. There is a delay. How long is the delay?
So the delay ranges from anywhere from a few minutes to, let's say, 25 minutes or so. And the reason for that is because we're following police officers, and there are real people involved who are disclosing social security numbers and personal information. There are occasionally undercover officers involved where we have to address that sort of issue. There's a child in the shot. Someone makes an allegation against someone else that can't possibly go on television. So the delay is there to protect the privacy of individuals involved and to just try to adhere to a certain set of standards to ensure that.
So y'all see what's going on here. So that's how much power this movement has. To where they will shut you down. I mean, you have this, when Black Lives Matter pulled up on the scene after this George Floyd thing, you had whole police departments quitting their jobs. Now, I'm not in agreements with any police beating our people, or I'm not even supportive of cops that show cops, but I'm just showing you the amount of influence and power the Black Lives Matter Mafia has. You see? And that's why they have so much power on YouTube. This video probably gonna get strikes, right? But we gotta tell the truth. That's why I say share this video and share it. Get it out there as much as possible, because what's going to happen is YouTube going to shut it down. Anytime you speak on the LGBT mafia or the Black Lives Matter mafia, you get shut down, you get censored. Right? You no longer have freedom of speech. Only people that can talk is the people that's over LGBT and Black Lives. These are only groups that can talk, that has a say. Right? So if you're in support of Black Lives Matter, make sure you know what you're following. Right? Make sure you know what you're following. I want to read this scripture before we close it out. Right? I want to read this scripture real quick. Isaiah 5, and I want to start at verse 20. Right? And it says this. Woe unto them that call evil good and good evil, that put darkness for light and light for darkness, that put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter. Woe unto them that are wise in their own eyes. See? And prudent in their own sight. Woe unto them that are mighty to drink wine and men of strength to mingle strong drink. Woe, which justify the wicked for reward. See? And take away the righteousness of the righteousness from him. See that? This is what's going on in here. What they're doing, they call it noble and moral and it's right to do. We're fighting for LGBT rights. We're fighting for Black lives. Meanwhile, they're fighting for an agenda that has nothing to do with Black people. Right? So, brothers and sisters, make sure y'all go back and do more research on your own. Go back and see what we showed at the beginning of the video with the website. Go back to the website, right? And see. They promote abortion, showing you that Black lives don't matter. They promote abortions. They hate the family structure, right? They don't want Black men in leadership. And they're promoting the LGBT community, the LGBT agenda, and putting their people and their communities in leadership, but then scream equality. See? All right. So, brothers and sisters, appreciate y'all for tuning in tonight. Right? I didn't do my usual 2.5 hours. I was quick today, straight to the point. But this one had to be long. It's straight to the point. This lesson, this topic was to show you, brothers and sisters, that make sure you know what you're following. Right? Make sure you know what you're following. Do your research on your own. Right? Pray to the Most High God. Believe the Most High God and trust in the Most High God. And when any wickedness that you see, pray against it. Okay? Like, subscribe to our channel, Breaking Babylon with Elder Asiy'el. Also, subscribe to our church channel, Israelite Temple of the Living God. We're on Facebook and on Facebook and YouTube. Right? We're live every Saturday at 3 p.m. and also on Friday at 7:30 p.m. All right? So make sure you join us. Not only learn about the hypocrisy of America, but also learn, the ways of the Most High God. Learn how not to be, like America. Learn what God is against. Learn to be righteous, right? This is what we're supposed to be teaching our people, separating ourselves from the evils of America. Okay? With that, brothers and sisters, I'll be signing out. Appreciate you for tuning in to us for this Breaking Babylon with Elder Asiy'el. All right, I'm your host. With that, I'll be back next Wednesday, exposing more lies and hypocrisy of America. With that, we'll say shalom.